Karen's shadow loomed larger than her ego, which was saying something. The woman could turn a sunny afternoon into a thunderstorm just by opening her mouth. On that fateful Saturday evening, our quiet cul-de-sac was about to learn just how far her entitlement could stretch and how spectacularly it would snap. It was the kind of summer night that begged for a backyard party. The air smelled of grilled burgers and blooming jasmine, and our patio glowed under a canopy of string lights. My wife, Lena, had spent all week planning this, our first neighborhood gathering since moving to Willow Creek. We'd invited a small group, Javier and Maria from next door, and Sam, the retired firefighter across the street. Just 5 of us, laughing over cheap wine and Lena's famous guacamole, the kind of night that makes you feel like you've finally found home. Then came the crash. A glass bottle shattered against our patio table, spraying red wine like blood across the white tablecloth. We froze, forks mid-air, as Karen stormed through the gate, her floral muumuu flapping like a warning flag. Her face was a mask of fury, jowls quivering as she bellowed, "How dare you throw a party without inviting me?" Karen, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, was a legend in all the wrong ways. At 300 pounds, she carried herself like she owned the cul-de-sac, her beady eyes scanning for rule violations, trash cans left out past 7 a.m., lawns half an inch too long, or, God forbid, a car parked 2 inches over the line. She'd once fined Javier $50 for excessive mailbox decoration because Maria hung a Christmas wreath in November. Nobody liked her, but nobody crossed her. Until tonight. Lena, ever the peacemaker, stood up, hands raised like she was calming a wild animal. "Karen, we didn't mean to exclude anyone. It's just a small get-together." "Small?" Karen spat, her voice dripping with venom. "You're out here laughing, drinking, making a mockery of this neighborhood, and I'm supposed to sit in my house like some nobody? I run this place." She grabbed another wine bottle from the table, our last bottle of Merlot, and hefted it like a club. "You think you're better than me?" Sam, who'd seen worse chaos in his firefighting days, leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. "Karen, put the bottle down. Nobody's fighting you." His calm tone only seemed to enrage her further. "Shut up, Sam," she shrieked, her voice echoing off the fences. "You're all the same sneaky, disrespectful leeches who don't appreciate what I do for this community." She swung the bottle, and we ducked as it sailed over our heads, smashing into the wooden fence behind us. Splinters flew, and Maria gasped, clutching Javier's arm. I felt my blood boil. This was our home, our night, and Karen was turning it into her personal vendetta. "Karen, get out," I said, stepping forward. "You're not invited because you make everyone miserable. Leave, or I'm calling the cops." Her eyes narrowed, and for a moment, I thought she might actually charge me. Instead, she laughed, a cold, mocking sound that made my skin crawl. "Call the cops. I'm the HOA president. I am the law around here." She reached into her purse, pulled out a crumpled HOA rulebook, and waved it like a Bible. "You're in violation of Article 4, Section 2. No unapproved gatherings over 4 people without prior HOA consent. You're all getting fined." Javier, usually quiet, stood up, his face tight with anger. "You can't fine us for having friends over, Karen. This is our property." "Property I oversee," she snapped. "You think you can disrespect me? I'll have your house on the violation list by Monday." She turned to Maria, sneering. "And you, with your tacky garden gnomes? Don't think I haven't noticed." Maria's eyes welled up, and that was it for me. I pulled out my phone, already dialing 911. "Karen, you're trespassing and destroying property. You're done." She froze, her smug grin faltering. "You wouldn't dare." "Try me," I said, holding the phone to my ear. The operator picked up, and I explained the situation as Karen stood there, fuming. The neighbors watched, silent but united, as her reign of terror began to crumble. The police arrived in under 10 minutes, 2 officers stepping onto the patio with calm authority. Karen, predictably, tried to spin the narrative. "Officers, these people are violating HOA regulations. I'm the president, and they're disrespecting my authority." She gestured wildly, her muumuu flapping like a distressed bird. The older officer, a grizzled man named Officer Daniels, raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, I don't care about your HOA rules. You're on private property, uninvited, and you've damaged their belongings. That's trespassing and vandalism." He glanced at the shattered bottle and the wine-soaked tablecloth. You got anything to say for yourself? Karen's face turned beet red. I'm protecting this neighborhood. They're the ones breaking the rules. The younger officer, a woman named Officer Lee, wasn't having it. Ma'am, calm down, or you're leaving in cuffs. She turned to us. Who wants to press charges? Lena hesitated, but Javier spoke up. I do. She's been harassing us for years. This ends now. Karen's jaw dropped. You can't do this. I'm Karen Thompson, HOA president. I'll sue you all. Officer Daniels sighed, pulling out his notepad. You're free to sue, ma'am, but right now, you're being cited for public misconduct and property damage. You can either leave quietly, or we'll escalate this. The neighbors stood together, a silent wall of defiance. Karen's eyes darted between us, realizing for the first time that her power was an illusion. Nobody was backing down. Nobody was afraid anymore. She stormed off, muttering threats, but the damage was done. The next morning, a handwritten sign appeared on our fence, scrawled in angry marker. HOA Karen threw wine on our patio party screamed, I wasn't invited. Got fined for public misconduct. It was Sam's idea, a quiet act of rebellion that spread like wildfire. By noon, every house on the block had a copy taped to their mailboxes. The fallout was swift. The HOA board, embarrassed by Karen's outburst, held an emergency meeting. Neighbors came forward with years of complaints, fines for petty infractions, threats over minor decorations, even Karen's habit of peering into windows to monitor compliance. By the end of the week, she was ousted as president, replaced by Maria, who promised a new era of fairness. Karen didn't go quietly. She posted rants on the neighborhood Facebook group, calling us ungrateful traitors and threatening lawsuits. But the tide had turned. Nobody responded to her posts. Nobody cared. The police citation came with a $500 fine, and rumors swirled that her husband, a quiet man who'd endured her tyranny for years, was filing for divorce. A month later, Lena hosted another patio party. This time, the whole cul-de-sac showed up 20 people, laughing, sharing stories, and toasting to freedom. Someone brought a bottle of Merlot, and we all laughed as we poured it carefully, no smashing required. The string lights glowed brighter that night, and the air felt lighter, as if the neighborhood had exhaled years of tension. Karen's house went up for sale the next spring. Nobody saw her leave, but the moving truck was gone by dawn. The sign on our fence stayed up, weathered but proud, a reminder that even the most insufferable tyrants can fall when people stand together. The lesson wasn't just about Karen's downfall. It was about ordinary people who'd let her rule through fear for too long. We learned that community isn't built on power trips or rule books. It's built on connection, courage, and a little bit of wine shared under the stars. The end.